Hi, it's Rob Brown here, host of the Accounting Influencers podcast. I'm here doing a series of interviews with Roger Knecht of Universal Accounting about the fantastic events he is running and the way he's changing the profession. Roger, great to have you with us. Talk to us about the best and most prestigious accounting event happening this year.
Well, it's GrowCon. GrowCon is a wonderful experience for those that are in the accounting profession. It's particularly for those people who are owners of bookkeeping, accounting, and tax businesses. It's where we're coming together to essentially celebrate the profession, celebrate the individuals that are running the businesses, but also learn from the experts and grow our companies.
Now, the events calendar is fairly packed. There's a lot of things going on. Accountants have to make choices. What makes GrowCon the standout go-to event in your eyes?
First and foremost, it's for the owners. And so what we're doing is we're having topics addressed there that the owners need to consider as they're working on their business. And so typically when I've gone to a variety of other accounting conferences, which I do recommend doing, they each have their own purpose. And one of them is training. For example, you'll oftentimes get broken out into tracks and you'll attend various sessions where you'll learn different things. That's all good and dandy, but oftentimes that's where we bring our staff and bring those individuals that may need that additional training, get the CPEs perhaps. This, however, is a little different. What we're doing is we're putting on this stage individuals that are experts in the right of running a business and giving us the insights that relate to either marketing, selling services, pricing those services. We're talking about the various services that the clients need in that relationship, the onboarding of them. But we're also talking about staff related issues and mental health as it relates to running a business. It's, lonely at the top. And how do you actually stay as the leader in your organization and build the organization that you were hoping to have as you started your company?
It's great to have a theme for events like this, and you're hitting on a lot of hot topics. You've got a stellar roster of speakers. Just talk about how you get together something like this, how you decide who goes on that stage to address your audience, because you want to give great content, don't you?
Oh, certainly. So the one way we're typically doing this is I attend a number of conferences throughout the year. I'm going to be in London for the Digital Accountancy Show. I'm going to be at Scaling New Heights, QB Connect. I mean, there's just a variety that I attend. And as I go with the intent of who should be that individual that would want to speak directly to the owner of the company. And I talk to those people who are on those stages and really take the cream of the crop of those individuals that are in the accounting profession, speaking to the owners. And I really feel that they have messages that resonate. And so I'll invite them to actually be considered for the speaking opportunities that we have. And then for this year, we've put together a stellar list of individuals to really have on the center stage.
And I'm looking forward to interviewing some of those and deep diving, if you like, about what their sessions are on and what will be the key takeaways, why people should listen. Another thing you'd mentioned is celebrating, recognizing. It doesn't happen very often. Tell us why you choose to do that and about this gala that you're running.
So the first thing that we do is on Monday when the conference begins is we go deep into the business. But that evening we're going to be celebrating basically the successes of individuals as they've run their companies. And what we're going to do is a gala where we have a dinner and then awards ceremony where we're basically going to take individuals that have really excelled as they've started, built, grown their companies, and give recognition where it's due. And I really feel as a profession, we could do a much better job of this. And there are a variety of ways that as a profession, we try to celebrate those that are doing well. But it's going to be here on the center stage where we get dressed up and really kind of celebrate those individuals that have kind of set the new standard, if you will. And what we're going to do is give them the credit and the recognition that they deserve.
That's such a great idea because there are so many success stories that are well kept secrets. And unless you amplify those and give them some airtime, they don't often get talked about. And firm owners, you'll recognize, Roger, you talk to them all the time. They are very head down and think that what they do is very ordinary and mundane and they just get on with it. But what they're doing is actually magnificent and spectacular. And it does make a huge difference. So it's great that you're making an example of that.
Well, one of the things that I recognize is this isn't easy. And for many individuals, it's a great deal of sacrifice. And for some, it's just not anything they're getting recognized for. Their peers, their family, they're maybe not aware of what to do and how to celebrate those successes. Well, amongst our peers, we all get it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to dress up and really celebrate those successes and give some recognition simply because of the fact that I think as a profession, like any profession, we need to be able to kind of stand back and give credit where it's due.
Yeah. One of the things that attracts accountants and CPAs, accounting professionals to an event like this is the chance to network with one another, to peer over the garden wall, to chat to your peers and find out what they've got in their bait box or their medicine cabinet? And what networking opportunities do you provide for the audience if you like to talk to each other?
So we're going to be doing a few things. One, we actually, in the course of the event, have some activities that enable individuals to kind of connect with those that they're associated or sitting around. The intent here is to kind of facilitate those communications. But then we have some social activities as well, where we're expecting that through this, you'll actually leave with some new connections, some collaborations that you can use to better service your clientele, possibly get additional clients as people are saying, that's not my industry or focus. Obviously, this is someone you could better service than I can. And through that, you're going to see some business going on. And it's quite exciting. One of the things that I really think that comes from the peer interactions as well is the fact that you're able to get motivated by other individuals who are a little bit ahead of you. You're able to see, okay, I've maybe kind of settled, let's say, with what I'm trying to do in my business. Clearly, I can do much more because I just met someone that's doing so much more than I've even realized. And that motivates you. You start to realize there's a lot more potential with what you're doing for not only your business, but for your clientele. And I find that as peers, when we're getting together, we just bring out the best in one another. And so what I'm going to do is definitely highlight the fact that in addition to the networking and the friendships and the sense of tribe and community that's developed, there's a business component to it. And I really do feel that there's a motivation to it as well.
Yeah, you bring up so many wonderful points there. The collaborative nature, the collegiate atmosphere where people are willing to help no matter where they are on the journey. And it doesn't matter where you are, there's always someone not so far on as you and someone that's a lot further on. But the fact that you're talking to each other and sharing experiences, that's huge value for the people that attend.
No, certainly. And we've been doing this for a number of years. And so there's a number of friendships that have developed where people come together and meet at the conference and renew those friendships. And one of the things that I'd like to really emphasize here is what we don't really understand or realize is oftentimes we get into, like you were saying earlier, our nose down, we just kind of do the work and we just don't realize that there's a social element to this. We are people, and as people, we're social creatures. And because of the social interaction of this, so many people just leave with a high that they didn't even expect when they came. They didn't realize they needed it. And yet they leave going, these are some people that I don't want to leave just yet. And they're eager to come back even the following year because of it. So there's a lot of good things that are kind of unexpected takeaways that come from the conference that are more than just the learnings that you receive.
Yeah. Let's talk about the tech, Roger, for a moment. We can't deny that it's driving huge change in the accounting world. And accountants often come to find out what's working and what isn't, what others are using. You've got some great vendors there, and you've got an opportunity to talk about the tech with something called Toolbox. Tell us a bit more about that.
So Toolbox is a way that we've actually tried to organize for the accounting professional the resources, the tools, the things that they need to consider as professionals to better service their clientele. And it's a virtual trade show. It's where we try to collect and gather those individuals that need to actually kind of be in a center place for people to easily find them and maybe learn about them, find out whether or not they're relevant to the clients that they're servicing or the business that they're operating. And in that toolbox, kind of pick and choose the right things for you as you're running your business. And so this toolbox is basically an ecosystem of a variety of things that you need to be aware of as it relates to the accounting profession. And it's at the conference that you get to see some of those people that are within the toolbox and kind of meet them, understand what they're doing to service the community, service us as accounting professionals. And ultimately at the end, I feel that one of the biggest takeaways, one of the hidden gems or secrets that are at every conference is in fact the trade area. I don't know if many people really recognize the value of it. In fact, I see so many go to conferences and intentionally avoid the vendor area, saying, I just don't want to go there and get pitched and sold. Honestly, that's where a lot of the gems are, that if you just walked around with an open mind and said, okay, tell me why you're here. What's different? What are you representing? What is it that I should know? And you'll find that there are a lot of companies out there that have found a need that exists in the accounting profession and provided a solution for it. And at the end, yeah, there's perhaps a fee or a cost associated with it, but it's meant to actually help what you're doing either be more efficient, more productive, more effective as it relates to your services. So you do want to be aware of this. You want to be on the cutting edge and not be left behind as it relates to these tools and resources. And the toolbox is a place to actually be aware of those and stand tuned.
That's very good. And would it be fair to say that so many events, vendors turn up and it is a sell, sell, sell. It's a pitch fest, but you carefully curate the vendors, the sponsors, the exhibitors, the partners, the people that get alongside you because you've vetted them, you recommend them, you probably use them. So there's some kind of guarantee there, isn't there, that these are the best in class?
Yeah, we try to actually do a little bit of vetting beforehand. Clearly, not every service is for everyone. And so we don't want to suggest that these are must haves or must
Hmm.
do's. But I will admit there are some things that we're trying to do to kind of vet these individuals so that we can make sure that there's a thing worth considering there. But as to your point, the vendor area isn't meant to be a pitch fest, it's also educational. We're hoping that from this, you'll actually better understand some tools and resources that you ought to consider and realize it may not be now that it's the right solution for you to implement in your company or take to your clients, but it's nice to know that this exists so that maybe in 6 months, a year, you're in a position where you're able to say, you know what? I actually know of something that might actually help here. And that's one of the things that I think is very helpful is we understand what tools we have in our toolbox to leverage and use as we're doing our thing.
That's excellent. Talk to us about the where and when, Roger. People are watching this now. They're thinking, this sounds like an amazing event. I'd love to go. Tell us where it is, when it is, and the format over the time.
It's May of every year. So May is when we get together as accounting professionals to do GrowCon. This year, it's going to be in Jacksonville, Florida. It happens to be a place that I really think is going to be a lot of fun, especially for those individuals that are in a position of easily traveling on the East Coast. It's one of those accessible places. And then it's specifically on the dates of May 6th and May 7th, May 6th and May 7th. And so that's where we're going to be gathering together as accounting professionals to celebrate the profession and, more importantly, learn what we can be doing to work on our business to have what I refer to as the premier accounting firm in your area.
Yeah. And finally, Roger, just for those professionals sitting on the fence here thinking, I've got a few events. Can I make that? Can I not make that? Is it worth my while? Is it worth the money, the travel, everything else? What would be your final message to them? Because this is not a time to get isolated, is it? This is a time to get around good people, good education, good vendors, good inspirational peers where you can move your business forward. So what would be your final message?
My final message is this. When I was given the opportunity to become the third president of Universal Accounting Center, I asked the preceding president for advice. And one of the things that he specifically emphasized is he says, Roger, one of the things that I'd highly recommend is you need to get out of the business. You need to leave, go to a conference. You need to go to many conferences. You need to get engaged in the community. You need to be on the cutting edge of what's going on in the profession. And more importantly, you've got to know who the professionals are, your peers, those individuals you're servicing, and most importantly, the professionals in the industry. And I cannot recommend enough how important that was. Well, doing so and attending so many of these conferences, I intended to now actually create something that I thought was lacking, missing, that didn't exist in the others. And that's what GrowCon is. It's a specific conference for the owners of bookkeeping, accounting, and tax businesses, a place that you can come and be educated, inspired, and most importantly, celebrated as an accounting professional.
I'm booking my ticket and flying over from the United Kingdom now, Roger. It sounds like a phenomenal event and definitely one of the go-to speaking events of the year. Thank you so much for sharing with us today all about GrowCon.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks, Rob.